Hi, this is Dhirendra. In today's video, we are critically going to analyze what is this sengol all about and why its installation in Parliament building is needed, or maybe we should have avoided. We are going to discuss three reasons for the implementation and three reasons for why it should not be installed in the Parliament building. First of all, let's understand what is this sengol all about. Sengol is basically a Tamil word which is combination of two different words, Semmai, which means righteousness or rule of law or prosperity in Tamil. Kol is a word which means rod. So when you combine both these words, it gives a meaning that rod, which represents rule of law, righteousness or prosperity for the kingdom. Now this whole word has come because of the usage of the word sengol in the past, in the historical past of ancient India or medieval in times when the Chola dynasty was ruling. So one king used to transfer the power to other king by using this rod, which became the symbol of power of transfer from one king to the other king. And current structure of sengol is about 5 feet long to 2 inch thick. On the head it is having Nandi put on the rod. So basically it is a Shaivite tradition of Hinduism where Chola dynasties were actually the followers of Shiva as the god. There are two controversies. One is about the transfer of sengol from Lord Mountbatten to the Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. The controversy is about the installation of sengol in the Parliament building. So first of all, let's discuss about the whole narration behind transfer of sengol from Lord Mountbatten to Jawaharlal Nehru. As per the reports from Hindu, it mentions that there was a transfer of sengol from the sannyasis of Adinam in Tamil Nadu. They have a mutt called Thiruvadhanturai Adinam in Tamil Nadu, which is basically a Shaivite mutt. So the priest from these mutts went ahead, caught a train in Chennai and then went to meet Nehru at his place, wherein they presented that whole sengol to him. In their belief, this is what they thought, that India is getting a freedom from Britishers. It must represent something which is from the Hindu tradition. So they did it exactly as per what their whole idea about transfer of power was concerned. But the government says that instead of these two priests or these priests going to directly Nehru, they first of all go to Lord Mountbatten. They pass on that sengol to Lord Mountbatten, and then he returns back to them, and then they do the rituals, do the hymns, and then they finally give it to Nehru. In this way, there is a power transfer. So basically, there are two versions of the story. One is like Nehru accepted the sengol as a way of accepting gifts from different people across India, so he accepted it. The other story is that it was all intentional, planned by Raja Gopalachari, Rajaji, in order to symbolize the power transfer. So there are two different stories being told. One where someone who is the leader of the nation accepts it from the priest who think that this is symbol of power transfer. The other is like they are saying that it has been a government event organized by C. Raja Gopalachari, who became the Governor General of India for interim government for 2 years. And in this way, they go on to highlight how Nehru accepted it as a symbol of power transfer. But because it was not popularized, because it was kept in the museum, hence its significance was not noted and hence it was ignored. This is what is the two different narrations which is going on in the media. As per the article in Hindu, it says that there is a clear report of seers from Tamil Nadu and from the mutt Adinam going to meet Nehru and presenting him with the sengol, but there is hardly any evidence which suggests that they first of all went to meet Lord Mountbatten and then again go back to meet Nehru and present him with the sengol. In this way, the transfer of power is completed. So the narrations are different. The story more or less is same, that Nehru has been presented sengol to him with the ideation that Chola kings were transferring the power, so it was done. But to consider this story that it actually happened officially is something where more data is to be required, because when in the Time magazine of 25th August, it mentions that the seers in fact indeed meet Nehru, but did they meet Mountbatten is a question of discussion, debate. The other point of contention is about Rajmohan Gandhi wrote a piece in NDTV wherein he wrote that C. Raja Gopalachari never mentioned about Sengol in his career, and hence it doesn't find a mention either with Nehru or either with Mountbatten or either with C. Raja Gopalachari. So according to his article, it seems that it is a created story or myth which has no historical background. So that is the controversy about it. Now the second controversy is about the installation of Sengol in the parliament. Let's give 3 reasons why Sengol is okay to be installed in the parliament. First is Sengol basically represents the customs, cultural norms of the Hindu traditions of India as such. So there cannot be any controversy on this topic that okay, we are putting it something which is a symbol of dharma, which is a symbol of righteousness, and yes, it does represent the Hindu traditions. And as the country is already 80% Hindu population, so why not to represent their sentiments? So that is the first reason. The other reason which can be in favor of installation of Sengol in parliament is, if you see, Sengol is basically the symbol of something which is from the South India, from the Chola dynasty. Indian parliament is in North India, so when a South India symbol is installed in the North Indian capital of India, it symbolizes the unity of India, it symbolizes North and South amalgamation to form something which is Parliament of India, which is shows the unity of India, the different value systems from North and the South in order to mark the occasion, or in order to mark the whole Indian parliament. That is the second reason. The third reason which can be used in favor of installation is basically it represents the value system of righteousness, the value system of rule of law, the value system of being justified, along with the Hindu norms which are relatively more liberal as compared to other religions. So why not to have something which is liberal view of majority, and which is not preaching something which is fundamentally wrong. It is symbolizing something which is a symbol of righteousness, dharma. Or the fourth reason can be the narration of the government, which is like we are carrying forward the tradition of transfer of power from Lord Mountbatten to Nehru. In the future, this is how it will happen, so that tradition will continue. So that is the way of saying that we are actually taking forward the legacy, the history from Nehru to say Modi and then coming future prime ministers. So these are the 4 reasons why it makes a case for the installation of Sengol in the parliament. Let's discuss those 3 or 4 reasons why it is not important to be installed, why it is against the norms of Indian constitution or against the norms of the spirit of Indian constitution. The first reason is India is a secular country. When we say secular, the Indian state has to have a secular ideation, publicity or presentation in the public. So when you are doing something which is traditionally Hindu tradition, of Shaivite tradition, you are actually not caring too much about the traditions of other minorities, of Sikhs, of Jains, Buddhism, or say for that matter Islam. So if this balance 20% of the population is not represented in the whole ceremony of parliament building opening, then it sends a very limited or very narrow view of ideation of how country needs to be looked at. So that is one aspect of it, that when you are putting or installing that spectre, Sengol, then you are actually symbolizing the dominance of one Hindu tradition. Second reason why Sengol should not have been installed in parliament is we are no longer a kingdom, we are no longer a dynasty, we are a democratic country. So Sengol is basically a dynastic transfer power from one king to the other king, which is like the law of the king. It is no longer the law of the king over here. We are following the law of the constitution. And we are, as a country's citizens, we are not the subjects of any royal king who is born, who has been blessed by the gods, and hence he is the king. Here only the people are the gods who decide who will be the next prime minister, who will be given the mandate to manage the welfare, manage the whole activity of the government and the country. So that is the second thing, that it goes against the spirit of democracy, that wherein if you are putting a symbol of something which is dynastic, it is sending a wrong signal to the democratic norms of country. Fundamentally, if you see, there are two major reasons. One is we are no longer a dynasty. Second is the whole process of installation of Hindu traditions in the parliament gives a majoritarian view of how we look at the whole ceremony, and which is not too good a signal for people who are in minority. We are following up such traditions wherein if we don't cater to the minority sentiments, then the chances that they will be feeling a part of this whole country are like not as good as in the other scenario, wherein it would have been more inclusive, where more people, more ceremonies which included all different religious practices in some form or other, so as to have more inclusiveness in the whole opening process or in the whole inauguration process of parliament building, that is called Sansad. Hope this whole analysis has been useful to you in terms of the content and in terms of the logic of way of looking at the controversy around Sengol. Thank you for watching.